following is a production of Medfield TV.
Hi, I'm Steve Small, and welcome to another edition of Citizens Spotlight. I'm a member of the Medfield Lions Club, and I'm joined today by the 2016 state champion of the Massachusetts Lions Youth Speech Competition, Aine Ford. Aine lives in Hopkinton but attends Montrose School in Medfield, and she entered the competition this year, the topic of which was, how has social media changed society? So the Massachusetts Lions opened this competition statewide to high school students, and there's 5 levels of competition before you get to the 5th level is the state championship. The first competition starts in November, December, and doesn't actually culminate until the end of April, the beginning of May. So it's quite a commitment to enter the competition and do very well. Each speech has to be between 5 and 8 minutes long. There's a timer to make sure the students stick within the time limits. If they go under or over, they could get a slight deduction. They also have to give a manuscript of their speech, and there's someone who reads it as they deliver it, and they can be taken slight deduction if they skip too many sentences. The competition also gets harder as you progress through levels of the competition. At the beginning, the students can basically read their speech off a manuscript, and by the end, at the final, they're only allowed 1 3x5 index card. They can cram it really small letters on both sides if they want to, but I believe, Aine, you actually memorized your entire speech by the end.
Yeah, I had it memorized by that point.
Yeah. So the speeches are judged 30% on a 100-point scale, 30% for delivery, how the speech is delivered, 30% for effectiveness, does the speech make an emotional impact, and 40% on the text of the speech. Is it well thought out? Is it coherent? Does it answer the question? And there were somewhere between 400 and 500 entrants this year, and Aine came out on top. The process for Aine really started back in probably November. Montrose has incorporated the speech contest into their curriculum, and maybe Aine, you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in 10th grade, part of the curriculum in the English course is called a speech lab. And one of the projects that we had to do during the speech lab was write a speech for the Medfield Lions. And so everyone in my class, there's about 45 girls, everyone in my class had to write a speech, and then the teachers chose the top 5 based on actually the Lions Club score sheet. They scored us based on that, and they chose the top 5, and we progressed on to the town level.
Right, so Aine and 4 of our other classmates came to one of our monthly meetings in December, and we fed them dinner thanked them for coming out.
We had creme brulee.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, right?
We did.
Everybody had a good meal, and then the students came up and gave their speech, and Aine won at the club competition and moved through 3 other levels of competition, including the next to last level of competition was in February, and it was actually during school vacation week, and you had a little hard time there?
Yeah, my family and I were in Florida, and the competition was on the Saturday of the last weekend of April break, and so my mom and I actually came back for the district level. So
she cut short her February school vacation to come back and participate in the competition. So anyway, I guess maybe now would be a good time for Aine to give your speech again for posterity, anyway.
Okay.
So again, the topic is, how has social media changed society?
Okay. 4,878. 4,878 suicides of young individuals ages 15 to 24 years old. October 26th, 2006. Megan Meyer, age 13. Commits suicide via hanging after being catfished on MySpace by neighborhood adults who took advantage of the power of online anonymity. November 19th, 2008. Abraham Biggs, age 19. Commits suicide via overdose on a live webcam in front of 1,500 people. July 12th, 2014. Conrad Roy, age 18. commits suicide via carbon monoxide inhalation after receiving hateful texts from his girlfriend, Michelle Carter, who now faces up to 20 years in prison as an accessory to murder. Spending excessive amounts of time on social media is now officially classified as a symptom of depression. Why has an entity designed for self-promotion become a trigger for depression, anxiety, and suicide? Teens in my generation suffer a constant need to seek peer approval. According to the American Association of Suicidology data from 2013, suicide is the second-ranking cause of death for individuals ages 15 to 24. Of the almost 5,000 deaths in the United States alone, 20% were linked to social media, either through cyberbullying or depression stemming from feelings of inadequacy. Our sense of self-worth has a direct link to how many likes we get on a picture, how many friends we have on Facebook, or how many people favorited our tweet. Though teens have always felt a need to conform to societal norms and expectations, the power that teens wield today through social media has amplified this issue to an extreme. Social media has not caused this event, but has exacerbated it to such an extent that self-harm is horrifically prevalent in today's society. Older adolescents absorb a constant stream of comparison to celebrities and the so-called popular girls and boys. Teens feel pressure to look, act, dress, exist a certain way, despite being told to be yourself. Self-expression has a negative connotation in today's society, and those who do not conform to societal expectations are often the butt of jokes. Popularity used to be this ambiguous, abstract concept defined by peers. Now, popularity is defined by a number of friends or retweets. This number is given power. The importance to fit in has become so strong that people actually purchase followers on Twitter and Instagram, using websites which charge between $4.97 to $60 based on the number of followers for which the user is willing to pay. Yet, they receive nothing, except a larger number on the top of their profile screen. So why do people feel the need to buy followers? Our self-worth is completely tied to an empty number. Social media was ostensibly created to connect people, but has become a place centered around self-promotion. Posts suggest, look at what I'm doing that you're not, or look at who I'm with that you're not, and more recently, look at this delicious food that only I get to eat. Selfies are designed to publicize how attractive you are. This sense of empowerment, coupled with the just be yourself sentiment, has given teens a false sense of control and security. However, this sense of theoretical empowerment comes at the cost of people being humiliated, put down, and filled with self-doubt. On social media, the only way to boost your self-esteem is to make others feel jealous and hurt. Twisted competitions have begun to spread across social media, part of the new ideal to fit in. People perform dangerous stunts, such as the salt and ice challenge, which is when challengers pour salt on their wrists and then hold an ice cube against the salt. The challenge is to see how long you can hold the ice cube against your wrist. Now, anyone who's lived in New England during the winter can immediately see the problem. Salt melts ice, which means that ice needs to draw energy from another source in order to stay frozen. The other source of energy in this challenge is human skin. The victim suffers severely burnt skin, similar to frostbite, all for the sake of fitting in and keeping up with this exciting new game. Another similar example is the cinnamon challenge, which is when challengers attempt to eat a spoon of cinnamon without any water. Several people experienced collapsed lungs, lungs filled with fluid, and choking, to the point of hospitalization. The individuals who were injured in completing these challenges did them for nothing more than attention and a misguided hope of acceptance. My generation feels a constant need to prove themselves to an audience that is only interested in how many likes that they get. No one needs to feel ashamed of themselves just to fit in. No one should ever let a single pixel represent them. People are so much more than a snapshot of one instant in time put into the digital ether for people to like or dislike, to retweet or favorite. We must ask ourselves, what are we worth? We are so much more than the likes on a picture of chocolate cake. We are not the acne on our face or the hair in between our eyebrows. We are not a number on a screen or a statistic. We are more than what other people think of us. We are how we dance when we're alone in our rooms. We are the songs that we sing in the shower. We are the hugs we give to our best friends. We do not need to conform to impossible standards. They are impossible for a reason. We are enough. We are more than enough. So let us not count ourselves worthy only by what others like or follow. Don't let life be defined by a series of digital snapshots. It's a real, true life outside of the digital ether being lived by someone who is absolutely worthwhile, simply because you are. As the great Dr. Seuss once said, today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. Thank you.
So you can see why Aine won the entire competition. It's a fabulous speech. I've been running this project for the Medfield Lions for 6 or 7 years, and I've had the privilege of hearing Aine deliver that speech 5 or 6 times now, and every time it gives me goosebumps. So congratulations,
Thank
Aine. How long did it take you to write your speech?
Well, when we first got the assignment, I wasn't really sure what angle I wanted to take on it, and so I took about a week to just let it just sit in my brain and just kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And then I saw a lot of my friends were really affected by like how they thought they were being perceived on social media. And so I thought that maybe I could write a speech addressing that. And so I brainstormed at about midnight one night. And then I wrote a rough draft, and my mom and I workshopped it together, and I performed it for my family a couple times. And then we ended up with what we just saw.
Oh, it's great. So the ideas were originally yours, but you had some input from others?
Yeah, it was like a little bit of editing and whatnot, like phrasing mostly. There was a lot of passive voice, I remember that. But yeah, most of the ideas were mine with the statistics and such, so.
Yeah. And of course you use social media yourself, right?
Oh yeah, I'm an avid user. I don't want to be a hypocrite here, I do definitely use social media. It's tricky though, because you have to find a balance between how often you use it and how you use it, because it can be, I chose to write my speech from the perspective that social media is a thing, yes, and it's a great tool, but it can also be a dangerous tool. So I use social media, but I try to keep that in mind.
Do you have stuff that you do to keep yourself from overusing, or is that not a problem for you?
Well, I try and like manage my time on it. I'll spend 30 minutes on social media, then do an hour of homework, or vice versa. But it really, I just think it's important to make sure that I don't know what I'm saying, hold on. I think that it's important to make sure that you're able to budget your time to do what you think is important and not just be on Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, not to excess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during as we talked, there was like 5 competitions. Were you nervous?
A little bit. It was, well, everyone in the competition, both Lions Club members and the competitors who I were going against, everyone was just so nice and supportive, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. So I wasn't super nervous because I felt like, especially with the competitors, win or lose, we would support each other with that. I think that what was most nerve-wracking was the fact that there were judges like grading you on how you speak. I thought that was, it's tricky. It's okay speaking in front of a couple hundred people, but if there's someone judging you on how you do it, I think that's tough.
Yeah, you were mentioning how the speakers all support each other. I remember at the state finals, which there was an exorbitantly long time while they were tallying the results.
Yeah, everyone's speeches were amazing. I'm sure it was very close.
Yeah. But when the results finally came in, the 5 of you at the 5 finalists, you were all holding hands together.
Yeah.
It was really nice. So you said would some of the other speakers impress you? Anybody that stands out that you remember?
I don't remember specific names, but there was a girl at the state finals. She went first actually, and she had just such an interesting piece on how she took a negative turn on it, but she explained how damaging it can be worldwide, and how it deteriorates culture, and also it can serve as propaganda for various terrorist networks. So I thought that was really, really interesting, like the way she was able to spin that.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it surprise you if she won?
No, not at all.
Did it surprise you that you won?
A little bit, actually. I was one of the youngest there, and everyone else, there was another sophomore, and we were the only ones who hadn't been to States before. So it was fun.
Oh, so there were also 2 seniors and a junior at the state competition.
Yes.
I didn't realize they had been there before?
Yeah.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were very impressive.
It was a very impressive collection of speakers at all the levels of competition. So what was the easiest thing for you in the competition?
I think probably the easiest thing was, other than the food, the easiest thing would be delivering my speech, honestly, just because I practiced it so much that it just became second nature, just the delivery of it. Adding in the aspect of everyone staring at me and judging me, I mean, that made it a little shaky, but I thought I was pretty proud of what I made, so I thought it was easy and fun to say it.
Well, you should be proud.
Thanks.
Did you find it harder to have less and less reference material as you went along?
Not really, because for Speech Club, I'm part of Speech Club at my school, so I'm performing this as an original oratory, which is a category in tournaments, as an original oratory for next year, so I had been memorizing it throughout the year. So it was actually kind of better. It was practice for next year.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, glad we could help.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So what was the hardest part of the competition for you?
I think honestly, again, the competitors, because it was just so difficult, because everyone was so kind and supportive, and it was honestly upsetting to see people look so disappointed. Like, because we were there for about 2 hours together, so we became very close very quickly. I actually have some contacts from them. So it was sad to see everyone really disappointed, so that was tough.
I bet. Yeah. Would you enter again?
Yeah, actually. Am I allowed to say the category for next year?
Sure.
Yeah, so the category for next year is something that I think is a very cool thing that you can take turns on. It's political correctness. Has it gone too far? And so I think that I would like to enter again. I don't know if I can go through Montrose, but I will do my best, and I would like to be back, yeah.
Well, we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Would you recommend that others enter?
Absolutely. It was an incredible experience. I have a lot of contacts with both my peers that I met there and Lions Club members, the King Lion for Medfield. What's his last name?
Lee Treadway.
Lee Treadway, yeah. He was a graduate of the Naval Academy, which is where I'm interested in going. And so I was able to like make a connection with him and chat. And so I think that it provides so many awesome opportunities. And also it was a really great way to build my confidence, I guess. Like, even if I hadn't won, it's just like people applauding for you is very nice.
Yeah, it's tough to take.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned you want to go to the Naval Academy. What do you want to study? Do you know, you have some idea? I know you're only a sophomore. It's not cast in stone.
I'm interested in orthopedic surgery. However, if I do go into the Naval Academy, I would like to do foreign communications.
Wow, okay. All right, and let's see. So, what haven't I asked you? Is there anything else you want to add? Because you have people you want to thank while we're on camera?
I would really like to thank my coach and English teacher at Montrose, Mrs. Hill. She really helped guide me through this process. We worked together very, very frequently, so I think that she was a guiding influence. Mrs. McGowan, who was both my advisor and my speech coach, was really great with giving little tips and suggestions for how to approach public speaking to such a large audience. Then of course my family, my mom, she's an English teacher and she is incredibly supportive and has just been there for every single step of the way. She came home from Florida for me, which was awesome. My dad, my brother and sister were dragged to these like 2 to 3 hour events for 5 5 or 6 times, yeah. So I think that everyone who's like been supporting me throughout this whole thing, they're all just awesome and very worthy of noting.
Great. And of course, we haven't mentioned yet, but at every level of competition, you received a check.
I did,
for winning.
Yeah.
Any plans for the funds?
Not quite yet. I'm putting most of it into savings for college. I'm thinking of donating to a charity as well. The Lions Club donated to Rosie's Place.
Yes, the Lions Club made a donation after your win at the state championship. We made a donation in Anya's name for $200 to Rosie's Place.
Yeah, so I think I'll also donate to charities for third world countries as well. And I bought some clothes with that money already, some clothes and some just merchandise. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, well, on behalf of the Medfield Lions, I want to thank you for entering because you made us look good.
I do my best.
No, good. Well, like any other human endeavor, I mean, Lions Clubs are in it because we try and help people, but Lions Clubs compete against each other. And, so you made us look good, so thank you.
Anything I can do to help.
All right, well, if you want to come back next year, I'd be glad to have you come into the Medfield Lions again. We'll work it out with Montrose. All right, well, so once again, this has been Citizen Spotlight. I'm Steve Small. This is Anya Ford, the 2016 state winner of the Massachusetts Lions Youth Speech Contest.
Medfield TV. Community shows.